there's only one person in the world that I'm afraid of, and he lives right around the corner from here. The first time that I saw him was a time of very memorable nudity. I was in a crowd of 6,000 naked people. And it might come as a surprise, but I'm not somebody who really likes to get naked in public. In fact, I hate getting naked in public. I remember, like more so than most people, I think most people, if you pushed them, they would probably take their clothes off. If you're like, oh, it's a good time, everybody's doing it. I'm like, no, keep it on. I remember in 8th grade, we had like a sex ed class. Only they like didn't want the kids to get too excited, so they didn't call it sex ed. They called it managing conflict resolution. Which, in retrospect, is pretty apt. But at the time, we're all like, are you going to managing conflict resolution later? Or they asked us what, they're like, name 2 things you would never do. And I told the whole class, I would never go skydiving or skinny dipping. And everyone's like, you probably read a lot of books by yourself, huh? So I didn't want to get naked in public, but then I moved to Portland, and and there's every year there's the World Naked Bike Ride, which which somehow gets cheers despite it being way less sexy than you think it would be, and way more floppy and body than you think it would be. Anyway, so my first year that I went on the World Naked Bike Ride, I got pretty naked. That's what you do. It started up in Northwest in this industrial area. And I mean, there's all sorts of tips for the World Naked Bike Ride, but I volunteered because I didn't want to go in there without a role. You know, if you're going to an awkward party, I'm always like, give me a role, make me like the server. For this year, I worked the coat check. So I was the one people would walk in and sheepishly disrobe, and I would take their coats. The only people that showed up naked were like a contingent of dudes wearing only Crocs. And despite that, the etiquette is you show up, you wear most of your clothes, maybe some like body paint, some spandex, you take it off later. So anyway, dudes are all up in Crocs. Anyway, around midnight, everyone takes their clothes off and gets on their bikes. It's really fun, actually, surprisingly. Everyone gets on their bikes. There's like a marching band, and I don't know if you can imagine 6,000 people. I mean, in here tonight, there's probably like 200 people. So imagine many, many more of this. This theater, 30 times over. Is that how math works? With everybody naked. So just imagine that, and you're all on bikes. And you're about a couple miles from here, and you're all biking on the street. And some people are crashing into each other, but not many, and everybody's having a really, really surprisingly great time, and it's super fun. And there's just this mob of naked people riding up the street, and everybody's being super positive, except you hear this one guy, you hear this sound, like from far off, this guy yelling, "Degenerates! Degenerates! Degenerate scum!" And you come around the corner, and there's this like old dude standing in the middle of the road with a video camera, with naked people streaming past him, and he is just so mad. He is shouting, "Degenerates! Degenerates!" And I looked this video up on YouTube later, and he has this video, and he's standing there, he's filming everybody going by, very mad that they are naked, and he's in the middle of them. And then you hear this nice voice next to him, and it's this kid, my friend Theo, who says, like, "Excuse me, sir, could you please not use such bad language? It's really offensive." And he like pans over to Theo's face, and then down to his junk and then back up again. And then just starts giving Theo hell. It's really sad, actually. But anyway, so I'm a reporter. I used to write for the Portland Mercury until yesterday, and anyway, so I blogged this video, and I said, "Whoa, look at this crazy guy! Isn't he crazy?" And then somebody a few days later emailed me this link. They're like, "Hey, I think you should see this," which is something you never know if it's spam or not. But I clicked on it anyway. It's like, well, and it took me to this like white supremacist forum. Like, the bowels of the internet, right, are the message boards. And this is like one of the worst. It's a white supremacist forum. And on this forum, this guy had posted, he said, "Oh, I made this video, and this woman blogged about it." And then he posted not only a photo of my face, but also my name and my birth date and his astrological prediction for my doom, which And I was like, who is this guy and how does he know my birthday? And then I started looking around this forum, and man, if you're digging a hole, the place to dig is on the white supremacist forums online. And this guy, he's not only his name's Julian Lee. I hope he's not in the theater. He's not only a white supremacist, but he's an anti-sex, anti-Semitic white supremacist astrologer, right? So here's he has like 6 websites. One of which is his personal website where you call him up. You tell him all about yourself, and he tells you where you should live in the country. He moved to Portland because it's whiter. It's the whitest big city of its size in America, so he's predicting success for himself surrounded by all these white people. But he moved here, but you know where he moved here from? It's from my hometown in Southern California, this really small town, only 8,000 people, right? Really small town. It's the kind of place where you meet all of your potential prom dates at kindergarten, right? And I worked in the used bookstore, which used bookstores attract crazies from like the Tri-County area. And this guy would come in every day and get astrology books. And one day he said, I want to do your numbers. He did my numerological numbers. He wrote them down on a card, told him my lucky number was 17. I never saw him again until it turns out he kept that card forever and then is now a white supremacist who lives in Portland around the corner from here. And so every time I'm in Northwest, I'm really afraid to see him. But really the last time I saw him was outside the screening of the Portland Mercury's Hump Film Festival, which, if you guys know, is an amateur porn festival, which was at Cinema 21. It was a sold-out crowd, and he was walking outside just picketing, and everyone was heckling him, which was like a dream come true for me. Imagine your worst enemy, and then suddenly this crowd of people going into a porn screening are just saying, "Get out of here, dude! Get out of here!" And I was like, "That's right. I don't need to fight him. I have this whole like porn-loving posse to back me up." So, thanks, guys.